Hello, so I'm uploading my dumb videos again. It's a week after my operation, and my cat is making noise he has food, and he has water. I don't know what's wrong with him. Kitty, please stop. I'll talk to you after. It's going to be like a 2-second video. So, yes, you see all these bikes here, because I moved the bikes here, because where they were before was just a little bit too much clutter. But anyways, yeah, now I am, oh wow, I talked to my mother for the first time in a long time, because I was taken away from my mother at 8, about 8, it was finalized, and reunited with her at about 18, going on 19. And we didn't really talk too much because my mom was going through some things. Of course, her story will not be like that, but, you know, in all honesty, that's what was going on. But she wasn't there when I came. Like, we agreed to meet at a certain time to come for my operation, and that didn't happen. But when I woke up, she was there. I have some really bad footage of myself to upload about the like at the doctor's office and stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna do that, but yeah, now I gotta make my own dinner and get on the horse, you know what I mean? So today I'm just out, I gotta go get my bus pass, because the money came in, and before, like, 2 days or 3 days after my operation, people were calling me to take jobs, and I would have taken them. It's just that I didn't have a bus pass at the time, and you don't always feel like asking people for money, so, you know, loan me this or loan me that. But and I was just trying to consider if I can take the job or not, and trying to figure out where it was. And by the time that I had figured my stuff out, the job was already gone. And then there was another job that also required me to work on the weekends. It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I think it was, and you work from 7 to 7, so you get your 40 hours in your entire weekend. And that sounds great, but I thought, this is a pivotal point in Divine's life. If he's not going to church at 12 because I'm at work, I really would kick myself, you know? I said, I'll work anything. I'll work nights. I'll work, like, I'm not afraid of working, but I have to take care of my son first, right? Like, make sure he's set up. And I have a ministry. I've been taking kids to church on Sundays, up to 10 kids more, you know, for years now. And am I going to drop that ministry to sort jewelry or something like that? Nah, no, I won't do that. So, oh, and I have to just get some, and Doug brought me some calculus information today. He denied, we weren't getting anywhere with the calculus tutoring, okay? And, you know, I came from it thinking he wasn't apt to teach because I didn't pass my calculus exam. And I was actually really frustrated that I spent hours and hours at his house. Like, I was also full-time university, and I was cooking. I'd cook for Divine and get Divine set up, and I'd come to his home and I'd spend, you know, I'd be there till maybe 2, like at the latest 2 o'clock in the morning, and nothing was happening, you know. So I was obviously pretty frustrated, but my birthday prayer was that I would get my calculus. So I feel like this is a step towards my prayer being answered for my birthday, because Doug dropped off some algebra slash pre-calculus information today, and I understand it, and we agreed to part ways when it came to calculus, because his knowledge is like up here, and I need to I need somebody who can come with me from down here and bring me up here. Not, and he talks very badly too about people who don't know math in front of me, like, haha, those dumb people who don't know that and who don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm like, that's me. I'm sitting right here and I don't know what you're talking about. So because he's putting down people who don't know math, I'm not part of your math club. Like, yes, I went into a course, but I'm not part of the smart people's math club. And I don't mean to say smart people, I mean people in the know of math, because I have to be fair upon myself. I didn't even go to elementary school. I was homeschooled continuously, and homeschool meant a broom and washing dishes, and that was it. And then my stepmother kept me out of high school because my stepsister was continually getting into fights, and she wanted me to back up my sister by not going to school. Go figure. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, I've gone to a new church on Sunday. I don't know if I explained that. And it's a big mega church. I'm going to be going there this evening, because I have to be honest, like, I've been feeling really anxious. Like, I broke up with right before my operation. I broke up with Riley, and it's not easy. You know, breakups are never easy. So that's kept my head in pretty much a big fog. And as well, you know, I broke up with my church because my pastor is that pastor. You know, I don't think that he's purposely leading people astray, but he's leading people astray. Everybody, you know, I probably ranted and raved about that before. But, you know, he said that somebody that I love, a kid that is, I consider my flesh and blood, that she was pregnant. And then he would come to my home unannounced, and he'd want to drive. He's like, oh, we'll drive around today. We'll drive around and go find your phone, and we'll drive around and do this and drive around and do that. I'm like, I'm a single mom. I'm not going to be driving around with some married man. And you're a pastor. Like, you should be more righteous than me, you know, like, in order to get into heaven, Jesus said you have to be more righteous than the scribes, you know, you don't seem to have any discretion. Come to my home unannounced, wanting to come in. I'm a single mom. I'm not letting anybody in my apartment. Also, just, he believes in divorce. He thinks that, you know, he told me this ridiculous story about his best friend who was in love with his sister for many years, and they were dating for maybe 15, 20 years, and they never got married. It's like, this is the most apostate story you can tell, you know, as a pastor. They never got married, and he's like, it's good that they never got married, because they were always fighting. It would have never worked. Well, they were probably fighting because the relationship was ruined because they were committing fornication. And when you do that, you, like the Bible says, a man doesn't love a woman when he commits fornication with her. And no matter how in love you might feel he is after that deed, the Bible said that, wasn't Absalom, but it was one of Solomon's sons, I think, hated the girl that he couldn't eat over. right after he fornicated with her. You know what I mean? And this happens with men, and you destroy good relationships by fornicating with people. So anyways, he continued to tell this story about how, and one day his friend finally called him. This is the kicker, okay? One day his friend finally called him and told him, "Oh, I'm finally let go of your sister." This was like 10 years after they had broken up. Okay, maybe 7 years after they had broken up. He calls him, he's like, "I finally let go of your sister." And after that, a lady came into his life and whom he married. That is the most confusing and backwards love story that I've ever heard of for a pastor to condone. You get married, you love a person, you get married to them, and you lay down your life for them. It's if you don't make that commitment, then you probably don't really love that person. And if you have sex with them, you're going to ruin the relationship. And it's not about waiting 10 or 5 or 15 or 20 years for the right person to come in your life, unless... How can you date somebody for that long? That's definitely not godly. You know what I mean? They're having sex, and they're not supposed to be. Okay? It says, "Man shall leave mother and father and cleave unto his wife, not unto his girlfriend for 20 years. So, anyways, this poor guy went through all of this baggage, and it's the pastor's best friend, and he says that, "Oh, you have to wait, you have to find somebody, da 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 da." Do you think I want to go through fighting and thinking about somebody and not being able to, and creating these attachments and creating this path of destruction because I won't marry somebody? No, no, no. He did love her in the beginning, and he should have married her and done the right thing. If it took him like over 20 years to get over her, they should have been married. You know, he still talks about it like, first of all, he's still my pastor's best friend, who is the sister of the girl he dated for 15 years. The wife is probably not too happy about that. You know, she's been done a disservice to marry this guy. You know, but whatever. No. So he believes in divorce. Like, oh, it's in the Bible, it doesn't matter. I'm like, well, are we totally going to disregard what Jesus said? Divorce is a doctrine of man. It was made just because their hearts are hardened. But Jesus said, if you divorce one and marry another, you're committing adultery. It's plain and simple. In any Bible you can read it. Anyways, then he told a story on the pulpit where he had a gay man. He was conversing with a gay man for many years who was one of his good friends. And at 12 o'clock at night, this man calls him and says, "You are right. You are right. Gay sex is evil and not of God. You're right." And he's telling the story in the pulpit that this man called him at 12 o'clock at night and to tell him this. And he's like, "Yeah, you see, I was telling you." And one day it just clicked to this guy. And the gay guy ended up being burnt inside of his hair salon by his ex-lover, a man. But you know, what do you do as a fundamental Baptist pastor? How do you have a sodomite calling your house at 12 o'clock at night? He kept on showing up unannounced and all that stuff. Then he had an event here, and he didn't. After asking him to call me when he comes here, he didn't call. It's just total disrespect. I went to the CNA with them. I had the worst time of my life. They were just disrespectful to me in every way. I won't get into it. He spends $3,000 every year for 1 week to be at the CNE, and he doesn't have a church building. There's nowhere I can worship on Wednesdays or Fridays because the pastor is not going to be there. And as well, like, they don't have a building for Sunday. They're renting out the library, moving around a lot. Why don't you take that $3,000 and get a building that you can access just for church on Sundays and on Wednesdays, so people don't have to go to people's houses all the way in Markham or whatever. I don't know. I can't judge. People who live in glass houses can't throw stones, but I'm not a pastor, and I don't call myself a fundamental Baptist pastor. And then offer to drive, single women around and buy them stuff and take them for lunch and show up at their house unannounced and call them to speak to them at the end of every day for about an hour about how hard their day was. I don't do that. So, yeah. I'm at a new church now. They seem to be nice. I know a lady there from Divine School. But again, his school is extremely uppity because it's French immersion. So the ladies there are very uppity, and this is, when you meet certain people and you don't think that you can be a part of their world because they're too up here. Well, she was one of those people, and when I saw her at church on Sunday at the church, she was very kind and very warm, and she looked like she really wanted my friendship. And I'm always looking for new friends, so this looks like a good thing. So I'm going to be going to their Bible study this evening. It is a lot more liberal than I would like it to be, but at least I can have the children in service if I so choose to, and nobody can tell me anything. And I looked at the children from their Sunday school, and they're wearing their own hair. They don't have pink lipstick on like the other liberal church I went to. They aren't wearing skirts up to here, and it seems a little bit more sensible. They seem, a lot more calmed down, a lot more well-behaved. You can tell a well-behaved child from, children who are not well-behaved because, basically the other liberal church was very bashment. The girls were bashment. And these kids are, like, braiding their hair with their natural hair and just looking like themselves. So I like that. Yeah, so anyways, the place has stayed pretty clean. Andrea was commenting me on how clean the place was, and my mom navigated herself quite well around the apartment while she was here. I just have to mop today, and I'll do that after, because I took my shower already, so I don't have to take my shower in the evening. So I'm going to mop instead after dinner or before dinner, I think, probably. And the apartment is ready for childcare now. I sent out my flyers. Oh yeah, that's why I came on here. I have my flyers to do the childcare, and somebody is taking them down already, but I'm going to print some more out, and hopefully somebody will give me a call at some time. I should make a schedule in case the child is coming in evening, of what type of curriculum they're going to study. I'm going to have them look at the forms of cell at a very young age, the parts of the cell, because I think biology is extremely important to know. You always should know what's going on in your body. So and it's a good foundation to have, you know. So I think the kids will go through a study of that. Then we'll do some religion, you know, meaning, you know, teach them about Christianity. And then we'll do some math and then some language. That sounds like a good schedule. And then they can play and do whatever they want. So it'll be like divine schedule, like just very little, line upon line, you know. Nothing over the top that's going to take a long time, right? So that they can just get used to doing that. So they get used to doing a little math every day, doing a little biology, doing a little language, and then getting to work. Divine is so used to doing math every morning now that before school, that if he doesn't do any math, he feels like he can't start his day. So he's used to doing language. The language is harder because learning a new language is always difficult. But, you know, I force him with the language, but math is a language that he can pick up on his own and have that yearning to do math at any time. So anyways, I've definitely gone on in this video. I'm feeling better. I have to go to the daycare that I am the chair of and make, see if there's any papers that need to be signed. I also have to prepare my message for the board next Tuesday. Oh my gosh, it's coming up soon because it's Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope that your oh, and my mom invited me to come to the family for Thanksgiving, and I so far said no, because every Thanksgiving they're drinking and it turns into a Michelle bashing, how should I say, Michelle bashing event, you know what I mean? Because they feel guilty about the things that I'm not doing, that they are doing, or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be that way, because I've never felt that way around them, like I'm better than them. But they've always just acted as if I felt like I'm better than them, and began to start fights with me about things I didn't even say, you know, because they're a little drunk, so they're probably not in their right mind, and they don't know what I've actually said or not said. And so for now I've said no, because not because I don't forgive them, not because I don't want to talk to them. No, I talk to them, but because Thanksgiving is a time of saying thank you to the Lord and really giving him thanks for the bread that he provides. And it's just not for that what happens there. So I think I'm going to continue to say no. I've already made my plans, and that's fine. I'm going to spend Thanksgiving with the people I know who are not going to beat me over the head during Thanksgiving. I will not be the Thanksgiving sacrifice, okay? There is a Thanksgiving sacrifice in the Bible, and I'm not going to be it, okay? And it's not me. So, yeah, I'd probably rather not go. So anyways, everyone, if you actually watch this boring video, hopefully one day there will be prizes or something. But this is it. My life. And, you know, share your life. I like watching videos too. Probably not of all talking, you know, people moving around and whatnot, but this is life, you know what I mean? And people need to know that other people are going through the same things that they're going through, or different things than they're going through, and it helps. It helps to let people know that the human experience is happening. Okay, bye.